Hi, and welcome back to the Dirtbag Baseball Talk Show here, everybody. As you know, we're doing the mental agility series Beyond the Noise with L4 Living. That's L, the number 4 living, the ladies, Robin and Anne Marie. It's been a great series. We love the feedback. We love hearing what you're hearing. We know it's important to you, so we're going to get going right into this one. As you know from last episode, we're talking about management, team, organization, some of the responsibilities that they go through. So if you're a parent or a player out there, you can kind of understand a little bit more at the end of this episode from the ladies' information and feedback. If you're part of an association, whether it's amateur or professional, maybe there's something that's going to come out of this episode that you go, holy cow, I didn't even think about a situation like that. These ladies are onto something. We maybe better reach out to them. That's the goal. Okay. So thank you for being a part of the nation. Ladies, welcome back for another episode. You ready to get after it?
Always.
All right. Great stuff. Dirtbag Nation, here we go. So we're talking about organizations, associations, teams. What are we really talking about at the end of the day? They are the leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
What does that mean to you, ladies? What is that? What have you found with your experience dealing with successful organizations and troubled, not that they're unsuccessful, but maybe missing the understanding of what leadership means? What is it to you?
Leadership is communicating with yourself to bring the most growth forward person, mindset, heart, constantly wanting to evolve, constantly wanting to get better, constantly taking accountability and living. Now this is it. Everybody listen up. One of the keys to being the best leader in an organization, in your life in general, is one very scary but yet simplistic word. If we can all get in tune with it and really understand the beauty of it, is vulnerability. The best leaders in the world are the most vulnerable because they're not afraid to show their human side. They're not hiding behind anything else. They're leading from their heart and they're using logic wisely. And that's how we want to be leaders. That's how we want to create leaders. If we are not vulnerable, we cannot take in information from the lower level. We cannot hear what our staff is saying. We cannot hear what our players are saying. We're not listening to ourselves properly because we're just taking emotion and we're shoving it down. We're not being real with the gifts that we're given. So being a leader means you get to constantly up-level yourself and be vulnerable. And then we want to share what I personally feel is the number one way to have this major tool in your toolbox that if you live by this, which 90% of people in the world cannot live this way. If you live by this one rule, you will always be a great leader. And this rule is I am 100% responsible 100% of the time. So there's no victimhood. There's no blame. It is, let me look at what's going on in my organization. Let me look what's going on in my life. Let me have compassion for my staff and my players and see if there's a breakdown there. I'm going to start with me and I'm going to do my due diligence to figure out where the holes are without pointing the finger. There's many layers to this concept. You have to really train yourself to understand what this means. Like if you say something, let's just take a little example. If I say, we're going to go out of the box for just a second. Everybody role play with me here. If Kirk, you and I are a couple, right? And I say, hey, honey, did you take out the trash? And you say, oh, let's go. No, go that way.
Yeah. Nope.
No. Okay. Well, I told you to take the trash out.
I know you did.
Well, I mean, how many times am I going to have to tell you to do this?
I'm sorry, honey. I'll get it right the next time.
Okay. So that's a brilliant answer, by the way,
but that's
fellas.
vulnerable. That's vulnerable, right?
Yes.
You were probably expecting me to sit there and say, would you get off my back and quit nagging me?
Yes. You did two things beautifully, right? You took accountability for it. But on my side, what I can do is, it doesn't matter if I told you to take out the trash. You didn't do it. I can be like, you know what? No big deal. I'm highly capable of taking out the trash. I can also do that. Where is the breakdown between us where we aren't communicating right, saying, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do you think that you could be the one that take out the trash, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it is? This is about communication. It's not about pointing the finger. And just to give another example, we have had players, they're going through a breakthrough. They're going through a breakdown. They need support. But the first thing they hear is, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with our player? What's going on with him? He must need to be, maybe we should release him. Okay. Maybe we should take a step back and look how to be the best coach, the best manager, the best assistant GM to say, like, let's find out about the person. Let's find out what's going on in their life first before we label them as, you're out of here. So it's accountability, it's responsibility always. And then you lead a life of ease because you're not constantly wasting energy and time pointing fingers.
Yeah, and I think if everybody is accountable, that's when people step in their power. And when you're in your power, that is leadership. So leadership is being an example to others around you. If you're in your power and other people are going to go, oh, wow, they're making really good decisions today, or, you're in a boardroom setting and, you need to make these decisions, is make decisions, carry them out. I call it commit and execute. Commit to what needs to be done and execute. And you're not apologizing for it. You're just saying, this is what needs to be done now. That is leadership. And you're not second guessing yourself. And again, like Robin said, you're not being a victim. It's business. It's not personal. That's a leader.
Yeah. I like those. That's awesome. And what do you find to be the main drivers when you've worked with your teams and organizations and stuff like that? What seems to be common themes of, positive, successful, whatever term you want to use, driving forces of those positives or negatives? Is there anything that jumps out at you?
To me, their driving forces is success. Bigger, better, faster. How do I reach these pinnacles? How do I get up to, this level? And, with players, their markers are, their contracts. I get this contract or I'm on this team equals success. In large organizations, oh, I reached this level, I'm management, I'm, X, Y, and Z, I'm in this office. Those are success markers. But then of course, it's always tied to money. We validate success by money.
Sure.
We validate success by the car we drive. So these are multi-million-dollar businesses. And when you've got Coke and you've got Bud Light and you've got all these other big multi-million-dollar agreements, representation, it gets big and fast, quick. And you need to jump on or you get kicked off. So it's, who are you when you show up? Who are you within the organization? And then are you bringing that positivity and that driving force and driving that organization as a whole forward? Yeah. Because you have to keep rising. You have to keep responding. Or, like Robin says, you're going to step down. You may even, be sent down without a conversation. These players just all of a sudden, and hey, you're bumped down, back to AA. I mean, they were the favorite the year before. And now all of a sudden you're like, boom, you get this notice and nobody talked to you about it. Well, it's the same thing in the organization. If you don't go out and get those sponsors, if you don't go out and get those players, you're a quote weak link.
Yeah. It's the power of words. As I'm listening to you two talk and I'm going through everything that we've been talking about, it's amazing how consistent the same theme is at the end of the day. And I realize, again, because we're all humans, but the words and the titles, in this case, the job titles around our names changes our mindset.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
we're
there's
talking about
power.
management, team, ownership, coaches, whatever. And it's crazy, but it's all relative because they must worry about the same things. As a player, you worry about what your teammates think of you, what your coaches think of you. Do you not find the same thing with your management when you're working with them? Well, what does my coworker think of me? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but what does my assistant GM or what does my owner think of me?
Mhm.
Yes,
Wow.
Absolutely.
there are different levels of money, like you're saying, Anne Marie, but it's all relative at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's just it is, are you a cohesive group? Are you a leader? Are you a problem solver? Are you an innovator? Or do people go, nah, we're not going to go to John about this. We're going to we'll go to Sam. All of a sudden, John got left out of the loop. And then he's going to wonder, well, why, why the team going to Sam? Like, what the heck? Well, maybe John's just a greedy asshole. Maybe he's dishonest. Whatever energy or whatever culture he's bringing into the organization, either it's going to bring, some warm fuzzies and cash, or, it's going to put him on the outside of where he wants to be. So, yeah. Are you an innovator or, yeah.
Yeah.
Love
And
the
I
Same.
think
There you go. Go ahead.
I love that. I think too, if you're not asking yourself the question, what do my coworkers think of me? What does my staff think of me? You absolutely should be, because you are representing, right? As an exec level, you're representing an entire organization, and you get to know what people think about you, and you get to take that criticism because you're going to use it as your opportunity for growth. And then the driver of success is like the umbrella, right? We all want success, whatever that looks like, championship, World Series title, whatever that is. But you also get to look internally of what is it that really fuels me? What is my personal driver? Am I driven by responsibility? Am I driven by money? Am I driven by power? There's many different types of drivers that some people really love. They love titles, right? Their title is representative of who they are, and that means something to them. Some people really like being driven. Like, I like to have a lot of responsibility in my day and feel like I conquered that. And that's what gets me up out of bed in the morning. So knowing that about yourself too, this goes into your communication style, which is what we've talked about throughout the weeks as well. You really need to look at what fuels me to become successful. And you want to aim for that every day within your job. And then the things that you don't like doing, the things that aren't fueling you, you delegate. You find the people that have other drivers in that avenue that they can take a hold of and steer the ship. So listening to ourselves and understanding ourselves, whatever your driver is, it doesn't matter. One is not better than the other. It's just you get to know yourself so that you're the best person in your role.
Great segue for you, because you said one isn't more important than the other, and it is. But how challenging is it for you when you're talking with management and organization and being able to maybe give a tip or something like that, if possible, to a listener out there, if they're a part of an association, financials? Because again, it's always money. Investing in players, scouts, agents, da da da. Can you see literally the pressure on them when you're talking with them, or how do you navigate that? How do you help them to understand how to navigate that? Yes, it's money, and yes, it's serious, and you don't want to lose it, but it's just one part of the big picture.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go from the side of coming in and offering programming such as what we do, because this is exactly what we do. So I'm going to speak from that side, and then Anne Marie can pick the side she wants to speak from. So financials, right? Upper executive level, they have to deal with that day in and day out, budgets, understanding how contracts work, their sponsorships, where's the money coming from, ticket sales. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the financial side. When we come into the picture, it's okay, like if you don't have a mental skills team in place, it's how much is this going to cost me? Like, where am I going to pull this from? How did it, and you see the wheels, they're turning and they're thinking and they're analyzing this. We step out of that and we say, how much financial waste have you put and gone through from not knowing your staff and your players? Meaning, who has a drinking problem? Who has relationship issues? Who have you had to send to rehab for addiction? Who has what internal issues are going on? Who have you had to release because they had some personal issues and then you lost that money that went along with it? It builds and builds and builds. The financial waste from that side, right? That's how we hit them. Like, okay, well, we never really looked at it like that. So if you then start from the ground up and say, listen, I'm going to invest a few $100s per player in their own well-being and their own energy and mental support. Imagine how much you can save on the financial waste because you didn't know this person was going home and drinking at night. Perfect example. We've mentioned it, I think, before, the CC Sabathia story. Hid, afraid, drinking problems. No one knew. Ownership didn't even know. If you knew that, could you have stepped in and supported in a better way? Could you have financially saved? You want to just talk numbers? Of course you can. You can always just do that. But let's talk about the person. For a few $100s per player for your organization, that's nothing. It's nothing because it's going to save a lifetime in an organization and your finances and. So we need to look at this in a different way. I'm investing in human beings to invest in the full organization.
And that was the perception of the most successful baseball team in the world. So
Yeah, and I would
we'll leave
piggyback
one
on
alone,
that.
but yeah, that's how serious it is.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback on that is they spend, millions or however to get these players. And so it's not just a one-time investment. It's ongoing. So now you paid, 10 million or whatever for this player. And okay, fine. They get into a slump. Well, don't send them down to AA. Do the mental skills, call Robin and I in and keep investing in that player because players, I think there's this mentality somewhere, the players are disposable. Oh, we'll just get another third baseman. Oh, there's $1 million. We'll just get another one. It's a person that you already spent money on. So who cares if you spend a couple extra $1,000 over, 2 weeks or whatever, get them dialed back in and get them back out on your field. Why do you want to go down, call somebody up? Now they need to come in, acclimate to your organization. They have to quickly acclimate to, your club. It makes no sense. It's just insanity, the wheel of insanity spinning. So we need to change how it's been done and do it better.
I fight with people all the time on that. And what I've realized over the 33 plus years of doing it at the coaching and training development level and stuff is that's why this series and all three of us are so important. Whether you like us or not, dirtbags, you're going to get the truth. You know it because it is the truth. What Anne-Marie just spoke about there, you know it. The follow up with that is, they need to make a physical adjustment. They may need to make a physical adjustment, but it's because of a mental mindset that's making that happen. That's what we're talking about. That's what the ladies are talking about. Instead of just doing what has been done forever and ever and ever, acknowledge it for what it is. Acknowledge it for what it is. Sit down, spend the time with that person and say, your physical is not going to get better until your mind calms down and gets better. So talk to me. We're seeing it on the ball field because that's where you play, right? Is the ball field. So we see it on the ball field. But is it off the field? Is it on the field related? That's what the ladies are talking about. That's an investment worth taking. And you've got to take it.
Woo!
Yeah, otherwise what? You're sending him back down to AAA or AA, the same. The player does not get the opportunity to improve.
That's right.
Of anything, it's worse. Now they've got the baggage of shit. Now I just got sent down to AA. You pack your bag, you're gone.
Added mindset.
They're creating more of a problem.
Yeah, it compounds the issues for the player. You're not helping the player.
Yeah. And that's the thing that people, sorry, Kirk, that's the thing that people aren't taking a look at is we can skill you and give you tools all day long, right? We can tell you how to be in the zone. We can give you body language techniques. We can do a slew of things across the board. If you are not going to the root of the issue, which comes from a personal side, you are not attacking the issue. You are just adding more stress and more pressure, right? Not only, like Anne-Marie said, did you bring them down and now you just added a huge problem to overcome, but if you would have just taken the time to be like, let me invest in this person, to sit down and have a flipping conversation with them and understand what's going on off the field, because what's going on off the field is affecting them on the field. And you can study to death how to concentrate, how to push it aside and compartmentalize, but it's not going to go away until you realign the body to understand the personal side affects in game. The personal side is our life, right? So we have to address that first. Once that's addressed, you're flying. All the tools and techniques in the world will be like this. It's like butter. It just flows because you didn't push aside the person that you hired to be the player.
7 minutes left. 2 things I want to cover. I don't care who answers what, but I love them both because you talk about it. Are you following trends or are you creating or being a trendsetter? That's the one. And then the win together mentality. So let's start with are they following the trends? Because that's basically what we were just talking about. Yeah. Oh, it's been done forever. The trend is you just send them down. Why do you have to follow the trend when you, for God's sakes, know it's wrong?
Because you don't have leadership.
If you don't know what's wrong, you shouldn't be in that job.
Seriously, if you're sending players down, that's shitty leadership.
Yes.
You are not taking that, the opportunity that you have and that talent with that player at all. And to me, that is bad leadership. And it's because that's what everybody else is doing. That's what always been done. Yeah, well, be an innovator, do something different. Step him out for 4 weeks. Okay. And only do the mental work. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. Bring somebody up, but don't demote them. Keep them where they are and give them what they need to succeed. Because at some point, that is what is lacking. It's not talent. It's not commitment. It's not passion. Because they're there, they made it.
Because you have no problem sitting in the owner's box, the management box, or the suite, or at the cocktail bar, bragging about how good you are. You got no problem doing that. Then back it up and prove it. Be a trendsetter.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like they pull them up and then they stab them in the back.
Yeah. So, Robin, I guess you get to close off with the win together mentality.
Yeah.
What are you meaning when you say it?
This world has been run on, I need to be the best. I need to do this on my own. I need to prove, I need to win. Strip this societal view of we are in competition with everybody else. Okay, so let's look at this. Of course, we want to win. The team wants to win. We know that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when we share the spotlight together, when we share the stage, we all win. The 3 of us are better together than we are singly, right? In our power singly, we are awesome. But when we come together, we are winning because we are serving together. We have 3 mindsets. We have 3 different ways of being. And just take an example. We come into organizations that have mental skills development teams set up. When we first were coming on the scene, it was like, well, no, we've already got that. That's fantastic that you have that. We offer a unique approach that you guys aren't doing with the mental and the energy alignment side of things. Why don't you want to bring us in to help you serve better? We are not a threat to you. We are not a threat to your mental team. We will bring an added benefit to what you're doing. We will also alleviate your workload. Because
Yes.
I don't care how big your mental skills team is, it's never enough. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of people, a lot of things to deal with. So why don't you want the help? What are you saying about yourself? You're so grand and you're so big that you don't deserve the help yourself for people to come in to offer another special sauce that makes your team even greater. That's the win together. Why wouldn't I want to bring people in? Why wouldn't I want to offer my players and my staff and my scouts the best that I can? Because I'm not going to let pride stand in the way of me winning a World Series. I'm not going to let the ego overshadow the service. I'm going to show up and I want to win together. That's what that means. We are in competition on the field to win the title, but we are not in competition in life to be the best humans that we can be. And we do that through winning together, through being together, through leaning into each other, through support and compassion and an open mind to get the job done the best way that we can by winning together.
Dirtbag Nation, we know that you're not pros out there. And if you are, thank you very much for watching us. Get in touch with the ladies, whether you like them or you don't. You're on the amateur side, I hate to say it and I apologize, but you are insane not to be getting in touch with them just for a conversation because of the sheer knowledge and the experience they have. You need to get in touch with me. You know what you get when you get me. It's that simple. It's that simple. No BS. It's just because it has to be that way. I've done it too long and I know there's too much lying and shenanigans that go on in this industry all across the board. And everybody's at fault. Everybody's at fault.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's worse or better than the other. #4 LIVIN.com. Go there, find them. Robin and Marie, reach out to them, contact them. Next week, we're going to talk more specifically about what they do, what a program could look like for the individual player, the player-parent possibility, touch on an amateur association look, but we're going to really start getting going, and it's going to be something else on why they're so smart and educated on why they're doing on their own individual part of it. I know we talked about the story at the very first, but now it's time to really get into how do you know all this stuff, Robin? So I'm going to put her on the hot seat next week. Same thing with Anne Marie. All right. Dirtbags, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us. Share these because we know these people are out there. They need it. Not only yourself, but you know people. Share this at Dirtbag Baseball Nation, YouTube, subscribe, follow us, L4living.com. Robin and Anne Marie, check them out, be a part of them, get on the right mindset, let them help you get off the sidelines, get out of the noisy area that you may be living in and start to quiet the noise. And as Robin just said, let's win together. Ladies, another great episode. I thank you so much.
Thanks. This is a great one. Woo! Energies are
Great to
fired
be
up.
here.
Thank you. Be ready for next week because I am going to come guns a-blazing. And I know
Can't
you're ready for it because I've seen it and I saw a bit of it today. Awesome, ladies. Thank you, Dirtbag Baseball Nation. Unfortunately, it is time to get up, get after it, and get dirty.